Well, it's a magazine that looks good enough to eat, all about local food and the people who grow and make it. Inside, you'll find recipes like this beautiful blueberry buttermilk cake using berries that you'll find at local farms and farmers markets. Hope Anderson with Edible Nashville is here to show us how easily this recipe comes together. It just looks so mouthwatering. It's delicious.
And it is. It's really great. It's a delicious recipe.
You put a few things together already to get us started. So how does this recipe come together?
Okay, so we've already creamed the butter, the eggs, and the sugar, and thrown some vanilla in there for our starting point.
Okay.
And next up, we're going to simply add the flour, which I've already combined our salt, baking soda, and baking powder into.
Okay.
And we're going to actually alternate the flour and the dry ingredients with our buttermilk.
Okay.
So you think
this
you
is
can
a
help
cake.
me with that?
Yeah, I'd be happy to help you.
Great.
It's a cake that you make from scratch, but it doesn't take that long to put it together.
It doesn't, and you know what, Meryl? It's got all of the ingredients, or the ingredients that are in it are probably already all in your cupboard.
Yeah.
So,
except for the blueberries.
except for the blueberries, which are right around the corner at a local produce stand or at your nearest farmer's market.
That's great. Okay.
So,
Do you want me to do this, or do you want me to add stuff?
you know what? I'm going to take hold of the electric heater, and you can add that.
We'll let you drive. Okay. All right, so there's that, and then we're
And
adding.
then we're going to add a little buttermilk
Okay.
to that.
What's the purpose of the buttermilk? Does that just make it richer?
It does, and it's one of the liquid ingredients that the recipe needs to come together.
Yeah.
So, and we're alternating the flour and the buttermilk so that it doesn't become, well, just one big flour cloud.
Right.
So,
Okay. Yeah, that's good.
mixing that together. And if you want to alternate those, just go ahead
Okay.
and throw that in there.
I'm going to do the rest of that just for the sake
Yeah.
of time. And we're going to put that together, do one more little turn there, and the rest of the buttermilk. I noticed you're using a springform pan for this. That's a little different.
It is. And you know what? You can actually use this cake in any pan that you have available. It can be a cake pan. We've made it in a square pan. We've even made it in a pie pan before, a 9-inch pie pan. But the springform pan is really nice for presentation. And you probably have made a cheesecake in a springform pan before, but you just take the sides off of the cake and it's a beautiful presentation.
Yeah, that makes it a little easier to serve.
So we have our buttermilk in there, and we're going to give this one last whirl.
Okay. Pretty simple to put that all together.
It is. And if you want to scrape down the
Be
sides.
happy to, yeah. And you'll spend a little more time doing this when you're doing it at home, but we're kind of going through it a little quicker for TV purposes. So this is going in the pan. How did you prepare the pan ahead of time?
The pan has been prepared with butter and just a little sprinkling of flour so that it doesn't stick.
You ready?
I'm ready. So we're going to pour this in. And this is actually one of our recipes featured in our May-June issue of Edible Nashville. You'll find it on the very back page along with some other wonderful recipes that are all about eating locally. We are big fans of connecting the farmer to the consumer. And we picked up these blueberries yesterday from Produce Place, I believe, in Sylvan Park. So that's where we buy our blueberries.
That's a great place to get it. Yeah, what I love about the magazine too is that you get to know the local farmers and find out, you know, the stories behind them.
Exactly. Yeah, we do a lot of spotlights on farmers. In fact, in our July-August issue, we have 3 community gardens that are going to be showcased.
Nice.
And some more great recipes.
Now, when you put the blueberries on here, does the batter just kind of come up around it? Is that how that
The
works?
blueberries kind of sink, and it's a nice little artistic effect that when you pull it out, it's kind of patriotic. You could use it for 4th of July coming
that'd
up,
be
or
great,
Father's
wouldn't
Day
it?
is even before that.
That
So
would be nice. How long are we baking?
we're baking about 30 minutes or until you kind of do a little test, shaking
The jiggle
pan,
test.
the jiggle
Yeah.
test, yes, as it were, and kind of check for doneness there.
It looks great.
We're going to next put the turbinado sugar, if you want to grab that, and
Okay.
sprinkle some on for a nice crusting effect.
That's
on
just
top.
the raw sugar that
It
you
is, and
find.
it's a coarser grain, and it's really beautiful too. I love
It is great.
turbinado.
All right, we've got it already prepared over there. That's the finished product, and it looks absolutely delicious. You'll find the recipe in newsstands, on newsstands now in Edible Nashville, and then the new edition is coming out in just a couple of weeks, so it's going to be so good. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thanks for having
really
us,
appreciate
Meryl.
it. This is recipe number 5374. It's online now in the Talk of the Town section at newschannel5.com.